Hey, what's going on everybody? It is Nick here, back with a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about Algorand. As I mentioned in my last video, I was pretty much trying to get this video out as soon as possible. I was expecting to get it out pretty much on Monday. That didn't work, and I also had some business and stuff to do over the week. But nonetheless, we are back with a brand new video, and today we're going to be discussing Algorand and really doing a deep dive into it. So, nonetheless, let's get right into it. So, Algorand right now is pretty much one of my key holds in terms of like finances and stuff because, we're even looking at right here in terms of, it being pretty much providing the future for finance. But Algorand is a pure proof of stake blockchain designed to change the future of finance as we see here. We see Algorand builds technology that accelerates the convergence between decentralized and traditional finance by enabling the simple creation of next generation financial products, protocols, and exchange of value. And then we also have real-time mainnet metrics here. If you guys want to look at that, you guys can. But for the most part, most modern-based blockchain-based networks, pretty much similar to Algorand, attempt to achieve scalability, security, and decentralization, as we learned from like my recent videos on XRP, HBAR, and other stuff like that. However, very few platforms today can be considered truly well-rounded in this sense, and Algorand is the first of its kind trying to really meet these, I would say, goals at the end of the day. But typically networks need to sacrifice one or the other to work efficiently. Algorand so far is one of the most ambitious attempts to achieving all of these key pain points together. So, let's take a deep dive. So we got future finance on Algorand, create and deploy tokens, NFTs, stablecoin securities, and currencies, simple and cost-effective payment infrastructure, create new financial tools, protocols, and services. And then, of course, you could see government CBDCs, which we already know about. We talked about that many times in my XRP videos as well as my HBAR videos. Institutional finance, and DeFi. And we could open these and we could actually read more about these if you wanted to do a deeper dive on these. But for me personally, I'm not going to really, read too much about this. But these are some of the use cases. And if you guys are in Algo and if you guys do plan to hold it long term, I would recommend coming onto this website and doing a deeper dive into these. This is kind of just me doing a deeper dive, but not like, making an hour-long plus video for you guys to watch, because I just really don't want you guys to really go through all that, and I don't think that it would be in the best interest right now. But nonetheless, if we really read here more about it, we could see technology designed for future finance. For an example, some really technical innovation and development is focused on interoperability, private and public models, performance and scale, layer 2 smart contracts as well. And we will talk more about that overall. So some backstory to Algorand is that it was launched in 2019 and is used to create powerful decentralized applications and financial primitives that will be used as the backbone of the economy of the future. And we actually already see that up here, like in terms of like the government CBDCs, which is the central banking digital coins. We already did like a deep dive on those, but for the most part, we already know that 6 banks right now in the next 12 months will be using central banking digital coins. It's a way for them to really track all payment processing transactions, and pretty much there's no more like cashless businesses where you have, for example, there's a local restaurant near me that only takes cash. Something like that it's pretty much done. It's in the past. Now everything will be tracked through a CBDC or a digital dollar, essentially. So that's pretty much what we're really looking forward to seeing here soon, and I think that we're pretty much close to seeing that. So nonetheless, let's do a deeper dive into the overall platform. The platform is designed to address several of the key challenges facing other competing platforms today, like mentioned previously, scalability, speed, and decentralization, by providing the infrastructure and tools developers need to create applications and assets that can be also used by billions of people worldwide. That's why we see institutional finance, DeFi, and also government CBDCs. Those are really three key main components here, because this is all financial kind of, I would say the whole market will basically run with Algorand. Now, of course, that's to say, hey, will HBAR and XRP really be a competing component for Algorand? Yes, 100%, but these all have different use cases overall. Like, for an example, we don't see layer 2 smart contracts on XRP or HBAR. We don't see those listed. Now, could they have those? Yeah, 100%. But there's also some things that XRP has that Algorand doesn't have, and HBAR to Algorand, etc. But for the most part, this is one of those good holds that I've been holding since sub 40 cents. Right now, we are trading at about $1.52. But for the most part, we're still not at our all-time high. If we go back here to around 2019, we were over $2. Now we are about to be in price discovery, in which we will go higher, in my opinion. With Algorand, I think the full circulating supply is about 10 billion max supply, and then the total supply circulating is about 2.9 billion, almost 3. So, I mean, at $10, it's about almost $30 billion for its market cap, which is really nothing, in my opinion. But of course, the full market cap would be about $100 billion fully diluted, which is nothing too crazy, in my opinion. But nonetheless, let's get back into it. So, it was founded by this guy right here, who is Silvio Micali. He's basically an MIT professor and internationally recognized computer scientist. You guys could learn more about him overall, but for the most part, now it's being developed by a team of researchers, cryptographers, mathematicians, and also developers. And we could actually read more about the core layer 1, and we could actually see right now, we learn here, there's more than over 500 global organizations leveraging its technology. And if we look here, we could see, this is the infrastructure. Then we could see the developer tools and applications. Then we could also see that they have SDKs like Java and stuff, integration partners as well. There's some big names here if you guys really look into this. We also have financial infrastructure here for exchanges, wallets, and stablecoins. Like I said, they have a ton of partners, over 500 plus. Ecosystem of applications, there's some pretty big names here as well. And then we have university partners, again, MIT, Berkeley, stuff like that. Key stakeholders, these are pretty much, the big investment companies. And then, if you are interested in joining, if you guys do have a business or so, you guys could join. It's pretty big, though. I mean, 500 plus, it's pretty cool. They do have named partners. Like I said, I always love transparency, as you guys know. They do have a named team as well, I'm pretty sure. If you come down here, you could see their team. You could also read more about, Silvio himself. But for the most part, everybody is named. This is the full developing team. Advisors, scientific advisors, cryptocurrency advisors as well, and they do have job openings as well if you guys wanted to join the team. But overall, I love the overall transparency of this project and the team. You guys already know transparency is a big key to me. So how does it work? And this is where we get into the layer 2 smart contract. So it's divided into 2 layers. Layer 1 is used for running smart contracts, handling atomic swaps, and creating new Algorand-based blockchain assets. Now, Layer 1 is only capable of running relative basic smart contracts, also known as ASC1s. Now, Algorand's Layer 2 is capable of running larger, more feature-packed smart contracts, for example, ones that power decentralized finance apps, or dApps, as you guys may know. Now, this is all built on the proof-of-stake consensus mechanism known as pure proof-of-stake, designed to be fast, equal consensus system that allows all algo holders to participate in block production and earn rewards as well. We kind of did this sort of deep dive with Stack, as many pretty much I would say blockchain technology holdings in this space do. They really kind of give back to the holders. Now, with Algorand, I mean, I personally like it just because of the idea of the APY. as well as, you could earn a lot more being a holder by just like kind of staking your algo, which is pretty cool. So Algorand is backed by a large number of distributed relay nodes, which are used to route blocks to participate nodes or non-relay nodes and validate signatures. They can also participate in consensus as well. The Algorand protocol randomly and secretly selects block producers from the available pool of nodes using a weighted lottery system. This is done to protect the network against collusion, as well as, pretty much any other attacks. Now, of course, with this being said, it is still, one of those blockchains that don't have the security as HBAR. Like I mentioned, a lot of these, competing blockchain technology financial tokens, similar to like XRP and HBAR, they all differ in a way. HBAR's way is that it's the most secured holding right now, but they all have a way of kind of working into the financial system. I think soon, we're going to see a lot of these assets be utilized for different things. XRP will pretty much stay the banking coin in a sense. I think that, once we see them really adopt it into the financial system, that's where we'll really see the difference in terms of what they, are utilized for and what they aren't. But nonetheless, let's get more into this. So the best part about Algorand is that it's designed to overcome the issue of transaction delays and congestion. Now, if we see this up here, we could kind of see that overall they have 10.7 million addresses, 4.24 seconds of block finality, 1,266 decentralization. Algorand standard assets is 4.6 million almost. Transaction volume is about 1.2 transactions per second, which if we really look at, other stuff like, for an example, XRP is about 1,500, HBAR is about 10,000, and there's a lot of other pretty much blockchain technologies similar to this that are running kind of similar numbers, but for the most part, they all lack in certain ways. Like, for an example, some lack decentralization, some lack, the finality time or the transactions volume, which we already went over multiple times in the beginning of this video. But for the most part, the stats for Algorand is pretty good. And you guys can learn more about these stats if you want by clicking the learn more here, and it will actually open the mainnet stats. You can see the last 30 days. This is where they really did their key numbers on March 23rd. And you guys could see, their addresses, their block finality as well, even decentralization. So right now, there's about 1.3K nodes running. And then we also have the voting stake, lowest voting account online, and then voting, or voters, sorry about that. And you can kind of see where this was in a 1 month time, 90 days as well, and so forth. If you guys want to do a deeper dive, like I said, you guys can. Everything's pretty much transparent with Algorand. You guys could really, just learn more about it. If you guys click news and resources, ecosystem and use cases, you guys could read more about the use cases overall. We'll do a dive into it, but it's not going to be like, a crazy dive into it. But for the most part, you guys could read more about the white paper, everything. You guys could really do, a much deeper dive if you guys are really interested into learning about Algorand and holding it long term for, true goals to be met. But nonetheless, let's read more. So right now, Algo is currently around 1,000 transactions per second. As you guys could see, 1.2K almost. This includes smart contracts as well. Algorand claims to achieve near instant transaction completion time. Now that is in the future right now. Right now they're not doing instant time. It's more like about 4 seconds, which could be considered instant, but it's truly not. But it is a key stat to really mention. But combining this with the transactions per second makes it suitable for online financial applications that need to support potentially tens of millions of users. Algorand can't be forked, so users have no worries about that. in terms of a chain split or anything like that, and can be sure that consensus is maintained even if most of the network is compromised. The rewards from each block are distributed to Algo holders. This is in contrast to many blockchains which distribute to validators, like I mentioned previously, who may or may not be required to distribute rewards to stakers or delegators. To operate an Algo node, you would actually need only a 4 to 8 gigabyte RAM computer that also has 100 gigabytes of SSD and 10 megabytes of broadband. And that's, if we go over here to Algo, actually, we already see that they do have a partner. Hopefully I could find it quickly. But I know that they just partnered with Microsoft to actually run nodes on pretty much your computer all day long to really kind of stake Algo, which is pretty cool. But I do want to find the article just so that you guys, could also read it and see about it pretty much easily. But I don't know where it was. 1 second, let me find it. I will be right back. All right. So I was able to find it. So this is basically an article here. This was back in February of this year. But for the most part, you could run nodes on Windows. And pretty much if you click here, and I could include this link in the description below just so that you guys could actually read more about it. But overall, you could pretty much run nodes for free. It doesn't really cost much, of course, unless you're running 100 plus nodes, I would say. And even then, I don't even still think that it would be, more cost expensive than anything like a modem running in your house or anything. But for the most part, you just set it up. They could pretty much show you the entire breakdown of it, and then you could pretty much just run a node. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. It's straightforward. I will keep this article up so that I could include it in the description below, and you guys could read more about it if you guys are interested in running an Algo node. But nonetheless, let's continue on. So the platform is one of the very few to be entirely secured by a proof-of-stake consensus system. This helps benefit Algo over proof-of-work-based systems by providing lower fees and transaction confirmation times. We see that problem with, Bitcoin, Ethereum, stuff like that. Right now, in my opinion, and I know this might be a bold opinion, but I think that soon Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to be a thing of the past. Now, of course, Bitcoin will always remain the digital store of gold, essentially. It will basically be the digital equivalent of gold, while Bitcoin Cash remains the digital equivalent of cash, like I mentioned in my last Bitcoin Cash video. But for the most part, I think, true blockchain technology similar to like Algo. I know that I mention the big three all the time, but Algo, HBAR, and XRP, they're really, key components in this game. I think that they're major holds for me, at least for a long term, even short term as well. But those are the top three, in my opinion, that are really doing the game good, which, I mean, we could even look into things like Stack, who are really defying the idea of DeFi itself, and really kind of touching on what really needs to be reworked in terms of that system. But of course, Algorand, HBAR, and XRP aren't just focused on DeFi; they're focused on the entire financial system. So it's pretty interesting to really learn about these overall. And if you are still new to crypto, or even if you are a veteran, seeing projects like this come to light and really see them get a spotlight from government official, like pretty much systems in terms of like the financial system, which is such a big key component overall, is pretty interesting. It's pretty cool, and in my opinion, I think that it's awesome. So Algorand is also aiming to compete on an energy efficient level with its peer proof of stake consensus mechanism. The company also claims that its blockchain is carbon neutral and that it generates just 2 millionths of the CO2 generated by its competitors. Now, if we go back to my XRP video when I was talking about the XRP ledger and we were kind of comparing pretty much the overall energy consumption of Bitcoin compared to, even cash or credit cards or XRP itself. We already seen the big difference in terms of energy consumption. We've seen why Bitcoin is not considered green. We've seen why Ethereum would never be considered green. These are assets that take a lot of money to move just a small portion of it. They take a lot of energy as well. They take a lot of gas. It's a lot to really put into aspect. Like, when I was talking to people that didn't know crypto, they were saying, why does it use so much energy? Isn't it just like all digital? I think that's the biggest issue right now in terms of cryptocurrencies. People think that, this stuff is just, it's like pretty much going to YouTube and looking at a video. It takes no energy, they think. But realistically, it's all server based. It's blockchain technology. It takes a lot of energy. It takes, a lot of cash to really flow through. And I think that's the biggest issue that a lot of people are really looking into that, isn't really informative for people who are new. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, if you try to make a payment with Ethereum, or for an example, a lot of people who were buying Stack, they were experiencing these expensive gas fees. Stuff like that really kind of turns people off in terms of using, cryptocurrency as, currency compared to fiat. Because me personally, I don't like to use fiat all the time at all. I don't really like fiat. But cryptocurrency itself, like if I'm paying with XRP, I have no issues with that because it's so cost effective to really move it. And it's also one of those things that, if you're holding a lot of it, and say for so it goes to like $10 plus, a small portion of that could really pay for a lot of things. And to move it, it's cost effective. It's like pretty much free to kind of move it. It's like at a fraction of a penny, 3 to 5 seconds in terms of like finality, which is great compared to like banks. And it's just one of those things to me where using fiat from like a bank account when you're using like a debit card and it doesn't clear the bank for like 3 to 5 days, compared to like 3 to 5 seconds is just huge for me, and it's scalable. So for me, I see these cryptocurrencies being a big key component for the financial system, and I think that if we don't incorporate some sort of cryptocurrency into our financial system, that we're going to be left behind. So I think that's our biggest issue right now. Now, in terms of Algorand, going back to Algorand instead of me kind of talking about the financial system, Algorand's standard asset feature, which we see here, their standard assets, feature promises flexibility for developers by giving them what they need to easily launch tokens with a wide range of use cases, including stablecoins, security tokens, government-issued digital fiat, utility tokens, and much more, like we've seen down here. Now, the best part about Algorand is if somebody is new to cryptocurrency and they jump on Coinbase, they could see that on most exchanges, including Coinbase, you could earn about 5 to 6% APY, with some exchanges offering more, of course. Now, for me, I think that is a big key component for especially new, individuals to the space, because, earning 5 to 6% is huge compared to banks. Like, if you go to the bank and you open a saving account, it's like 0.05%, if that. I think right now it's like at like the all-time low. I think if you have like $100,000 in the bank, you might earn $1,000 a year, if that. And you don't really see it anyways. So for me, earning 5 to 6% on cryptocurrency with, there's some exchanges out there that offer over like 30% APY on some crypto, and that's huge. I mean, you could really live off of that APY if you are holding a significant amount. And it doesn't take money to generate, wealth like that sometimes. You could get into a coin at a low price and throw maybe like $3,000 into it and get like over 300,000 of the coin before it really takes off. Now, of course, there is the argument that cryptocurrency is, not stable enough for that because, we do go through bear and bull markets. But for me, I still think that it's more, in terms of me, stable than, like the stock market, for an example. I just think, overall, putting like something into a 401k is pretty much the same thing as putting money into cryptocurrency, in my opinion. It still grows at a significant rate. It's just cryptocurrency grows at a larger rate, and the growth is massive compared to most. So, nonetheless, let's talk more about some statistics, and let's do a deeper dive into this. So let's go to TradingView and really look at this overall. So let me actually open this on TradingView, and I actually don't want the USDT. Let me go to Algo, and we'll go to US dollar, and let's go to the full featured chart so that we could do a real deep dive into where I see this going. So right now, this is the chart. I think that we might be able to, let me see. Yeah, so this is pretty much the same chart. Just wanted to confirm that we're really looking at the same chart here. So nonetheless, we see here the all-time high is at about $3.70 some cents. Now I think that the real all-time high, if we look at like something like Coinbase or so, it's going to differ from exchange to exchange. But I think this is the true all-time high, if I'm not mistaken. I know that on Coinbase it could show differently because we do have some assets that trade differently in terms of the pairing, or just for the most part. Sometimes it just shows a different price point on most assets. I know that we have this issue with like DNT and stuff. But I think even Coinbase might not even show the all-time high because it wasn't actually introduced until after the big crash about here. But I do want to say right now, we are trading at about half of what the all-time high is, which is really cool. It's interesting to look at because it tells me that we do have a lot of room to move here before going into price discovery. Like I said, it would not surprise me if we got to $10 from our current price. If we look at the percentage-wise, now, yes, argument here, we could go back to the low at here or even here because this was a really, this might have just been an impulse candle here, but even if we go up to $10 from our low there, it's about a 3,600%, which isn't much. Like I said, if we look at other projects, 3,000% is nothing compared to what we seen back in, the 2017 bull run, 2018. If we go from our current level here to the $10 range, it's only about a 600% increase in price. I want to stress the idea that don't wait on assets like this. Now, of course, when I say don't wait, I don't want you guys to miss the opportunity on things like this. So if you already are an Algo holder, for an example, and you're feeling very frustrated, just know what we're seeing right now is a consolidation period. If we look here, this is going back to about February where we got that run up. This was about 50 some cents before we ran up to about almost $2, and now we're just kind of consolidating for the next push up. This is what patience looks like. This is nearly 3 months of consolidating before we actually break out. A breakout would be about over $2. If we break the $2 range here, we could definitely go much higher to break the all-time high, then go into price discovery and kind of see if we could test that $10 range. I just want to stress the idea that if you are a buyer, for an example, and if you don't hold, yes, you might be able to get in at like $1.30 or something similar to that. But right now, I think that we are really consolidating for the next push up, in which it would probably be to about that $5 range or much higher to the $10 range. Conservative would be about $5 to $8. If I wasn't being conservative, I would say 10 to possibly $15. Now, of course, that is a pretty big market cap, but when we look at things like, HBAR or XRP and stuff, the market cap isn't really that much, especially even like really putting in together the numbers that we're seeing right now with the cryptocurrency market cap, the total, by the way, but also like projects like Doge and stuff that have these unbelievable, numbers because of just social media hype. When we look into projects like Algorand that are pretty much solid projects, they have a team behind them, they have transparency with 500 plus partnerships, it's kind of hard not to say, hey, why can't, for an example, if we look at, just the fully diluted market cap, why can't we reach, 100 billion market cap on this? The technology's there, the project's there, the stats are there, the team's there, everything is there. So, for me to say, hey, it's going to go to 100 billion market cap, or even more in terms of the fully diluted, going from the 10 billion, yeah, sure, I could see where people are saying, hey, that's kind of crazy. I don't know if we could do that, because even at $15, it would be about $150 billion market cap. But if we look at projects similar to this, like, for an example, I know a lot of people have been talking about ADA. They're saying, hey, do you hold ADA? Do you hold ADA? Me personally, I don't hold any ADA. I have never held any ADA. But for the most part, I do know that currently that's sitting at about almost a $60 billion market cap. Yes, I understand that ADA and Algorand are completely different, but if we look here and we open ADA here, so let me look at ADA, and we look at the total supply and max supply, that's 45 billion, and if we take the fully diluted market cap at about 73 billion, that's a crazy market cap if we actually look into it, because Cardano, in my opinion, I know this might piss a lot of people off, I don't think Cardano really offers that much in terms of a use case. I don't think that they really have a solid work, state to them right now currently, and I know that is going to get a lot of people mad, but yes, long term, I think that it could possibly be, a good, sort of crypto hold. But for me, I don't like ADA. That's just my opinion on it. I like HBAR, XRP, Algo over this, in my opinion. So overall, I think Algo has a lot of room to move. I don't think that, for an example, a $30 billion market cap overall for like a $10 would be that, crazy, because we're not looking at the fully diluted market cap here. We're looking at the circulating supply market cap, in which at about $10 it would be, roughly, $30 billion. And then of course at like around 15 it would be like 45 billion, which wouldn't be that crazy of a number to really reach. I think Algo has a lot of room, like I said, to move. And I mean, I'm just happy to see what it does in the future. It's going to be a long-term hold for me. That doesn't mean that I'm not selling at the top of this bull run, or close to it at least. But I will definitely hold some for the future. Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you guys want a deeper dive on projects, let me know. Some projects to really do a video on in the description below, or in the comments section below. Sorry about that. In the description below, though, we will include this article so that you guys can learn how to run nodes. But also, if you guys are not already subscribed, definitely subscribe. Turn the notifications on, because I'm trying to offer as much free content as possible. So definitely join the Discord as well, and follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is at NCashOfficial. And you guys could join the Discord here. It's actually in my pinned tweet. So if you guys are interested in that, you guys could definitely do that. It will also be in the description below. Guys, this has been Nick. I hope that you all have an amazing day. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. And peace out.